Hey, så fik jeg lige fat i en af dem, der står bag The Search. De har noget DLC på vej, og jeg snakker med Adam, der er Head of Game Design.
Yeah.
So welcome, Adam.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate your time.
I would like to hear a bit about the DLC for The Search, because I like the main game very much, but what can we expect from the DLC?
Yeah, okay. So for us, the DLC is a way to say thank you to all the players. We got tons of response to the base game, a lot of things they've asked for, they want to see more of, and this is really guiding our work on the DLC. So it's called A Walk in the Park. It takes place in an amusement park that has been wrecked and twisted by the events of the Surge. So it's part of the main Creo campus. You remember from playing the game, Creo is sort of the mega corporation. You're fighting through all their destroyed factory spaces and laboratories and stuff. And this amusement park is like a recreational area for the employees. And so it's attached to the main area, and we've integrated it into the base game. And it's really like a crazier sort of space to play in. This is something people asked for. They wanted really different and wild places to play, and we decided that, you know, this like dark funhouse sort of theme would fit really well into our world. So part of it has collapsed away. The new enemies that you find here are, you know, this sort of like funhouse creations that have become, you know, crazed or infected by like nanotechnology or scrambled by the Surge. And so it's, you know, a formerly friendly place that has become very unfriendly. Of course, new weapons, new armor, new implants, you know, a whole giant level to play in, and an awesome boss fight at the end. This is something that people have been asking for, and we want to give it to them.
Okay, so it'll follow along from the main story where you still play as the main character, and then it follows from that? Yeah,
so you're still playing as Warren, and it's actually integrated into the base game. So it's not like a prologue or an epilogue, but you're able to access it from a couple different spots in the game world. So for people who are playing for the first time after the DLC comes out, if they get the DLC of course, it'll feel like it's part of the game basically. From the second main level central production, you'll be able to branch into Creo World, that's what it's called, this wrecked amusement park, and play that if you want to, or you can come back at a later time and play it. But we want to give people these sorts of branching options in the base game, and this is a really good way to do it. At the same time that we release the DLC, we'll also have a really big free update for all players, whether they've bought A Walk in the Park or not. And then between now and then, we're also releasing a free weapon pack for people. This is like 10 new weapons. It's not just you load the game and get free weapons, but rather we're integrating this into the base game as well. We're adding new enemies, wielding these weapons, retrofitting old enemies, so it's more like a bounty hunt sort of situation. So maybe if you played the game before and your kid got sick and you know, broke the pattern of playing every day, you know, this is a sort of a come back and try it out sort of thing. You know, we really appreciate the response we've gotten from the player base, and you know, we just want to hear more from them, and we want to do more of what they're looking for. You know, okay. It's really important to us.
I don't know if you worked on Lords of the Fallen?
I did not, but I'm very familiar with the project. I came on board a little while after that.
Okay. Because it sort of was like going from Lords of the Fallen to The Surge. It was like the company really found their own footing, and sort of really listened to the community, and really, I think we really made a well-made game.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Is the design of the DLC also taking from feedback from the community?
Exactly. I mean, this is the most valuable resource that we have, is seeing how people really engage with the game, what they want, what they want more of, maybe what they want a little bit less of. And we take this to heart. We use the feedback really seriously, because there really is no more valuable way to determine what to do next. You know, we don't always have all the answers, but all the players together, they're able to communicate with us what they're looking for. You know, and this is something that's really important to us. You know, we're not like a giant studio. We really punch above our weight with the number of people that we have and the type of projects that we do. And we want to make sure that people remember Deck 13, you know, and they pay attention to our games. We put a lot of ourselves into this stuff, and we want to keep doing it. So.
In the main game, right, a lot of the enemies were humanoids in shape, because of the way the system worked with loot and weapons and stuff like that. Are you toying a bit more with different machinery in the DLC now that it's an amusement park?
Yeah, so, you know, people have asked for like more wild, enemies, kind of more crazy designs, and this is something that we're trying to play with as well. So of course there are some humanoids here. There's some like search and rescue squads that have been driven crazy, you know, and are now dangerous. Well, spoiler, right? Now dangerous. But there's also a lot of things that you would expect to see in a amusement park that have now been twisted and changed, you know. And this is a fun direction for us. We think it'll be a fun direction for the players, and we hope that they'll like it.
Okay. So the new weapons, is it sort of like new types, so they change up the combat?
So they fall into the types that we already have in the base game, but we're trying to make these as unique and interesting as we can. So adding new mechanics, changing up some of the move sets, not entirely brand new weapon types, but making each weapon a little bit different, you know, as much as possible is one of our goals. And then the same sort of thing with the weapon pack that I mentioned before, that'll come out free for everyone. We're trying to make these different and exciting and give them a cool theme, you know. So it's not just you know, the same old thing, only looks different, but really actually feels a bit different, has different pros and cons to use in combat. It makes it a lot more interesting.
So in the main game, a big part of it is the rig mount, right? So sort of like an exoskeleton light, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you should toy around with him having an exoskeleton and then being in a real mech.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Do you know in 40K? There's this, I actually don't even know if it's a legal unit anymore, but the Grey Knights have a unit called a Dread Knight, where it's basically like a dude in power armor in gianter power armor, you know. Cool, it's like Russian doll power armor, you know. So I've always thought this is a cool design, even though it's a little crazy. But yeah, I like that suggestion. It's something that we actually have been talking a little bit about. We probably won't be able to do it in the DLC, but it's definitely something we'll attempt to do in the future, perhaps.
Okay, nice. So when can we expect the DLC to drop?
This year, definitely. Sometime Q4. We don't have a hard release date yet. We don't have a hard price point yet. But the big free update that I mentioned before for all players will also include Xbox One X support. It'll be an Xbox One X. I keep trying to say Scorpio, right? But the name,
that's
for you guys, the name just came out yesterday, I think, or the day before. So I'm still trying to reprogram myself.
Okay. Rewire your brain.
So we'll have Xbox One X support in this big patch. Yeah, so we're just pushing towards this thing, but definitely this year is what we're aiming for.